fuck if someone loses their money? That, you know, we live in a culture where we're pocket watching. We care so much about how much money someone's losing. And it's funny because it's like we hold people accountable for something that we can't even hold ourselves accountable for. I'm not going to sit here and tell someone to not trade. Hey, man, you shouldn't put $10,000 on the line, even though you have a $15,000. You shouldn't put that much risk at it. But who the fuck am I to tell some guy that actually has $10,000 he's willing to risk? It's the same way, you know, it's the same way with being in shape. I'm not in as good a shape I was like 6 months ago. I'm working towards it. I'm not too happy about it, but it is what it is. And for me, it's funny because I remember when I was not in good shape, then I got in shape, and now I'm kind of like off the wagon a little bit. It's weird how people like are so disappointed in you when you don't stay in some peak superhuman, not superhuman, but when you're not in like a physically where it's just a stature, like where it's not physically like where you look like Thor. You know, that was a nickname I had because, you know, look, I was leaner, I had muscle, you know, I was lean but big at the same time. Like, it was that perfect, the best shape I was in. But what I had to do, from my job to working out, not eating, drinking a shitload of water, not like not eating on purpose, but, you know, I had very little time to eat. So when I ate, I just had to eat and then move on with the day. But the point I'm trying to make is it's funny how, like, when you're not in good, people are like, man, are you okay? I'm like, even in this state, I'm in better shape than you. Where the fuck am I okay? Why don't you get okay? How about you get okay before you ask me if I'm okay? You know what I'm saying? And it's weird, like, you know, people who, like, they build their physique or they get strong, then they decide it's just like, I want to relax for a little while. It's not that important to me for a lot. People are like, this guy, you know, he's just not the same. I'm like, you don't even have it. You never had it. You never had it to lose. I'm not going to sit here and tell someone with 50K. Sorry, I just hit my computer. I don't know if it fucked up shit. Who gives a fuck? But yeah, I'm not going to tell someone with, you know, that has a certain amount to lose that I don't have in my account what they should do, because only they know what it took to have that and what they're willing, like, is it worth keeping all that? You know? I don't know, man. It's just like, it's like people always hold you to this, like, you got to be at this level all the time. It's like, bro, weight and money, it fluctuates. I look at my body weight and money, like, it goes up and down. It really is like the stock market, my whole life, it's just up and down. The stock market, my bank account, my weight. It's all just going in the wrong direction. One thing they all have in common right now, they're all going in the wrong direction. But not forever. But, you know, in all seriousness, though, it's just, the power just went out again. What the actual fuck? Am I living in a fever dream? I'm probably in a fucking Matrix. By the way, I saw Interstellar. Really good movie. And movies like that really do get you to think about some shit. Alright, first of all, if you enter a black hole, you're done for. You're not falling to some dimension singing some shit. I'm sorry. Your body's decapitating. Your suit, that suit he's wearing, it's ripping the shreds. You're gonna be like Ocean Gate underwater. That shit's gonna in like half a second. But that stuff really does make you think. Like, I remember I watched that movie, and like later that night, I was sitting down, and I was just looking at a wall, and I'm like, there's some version of me anytime the power goes out, anytime a roach comes out of the wall, it's like, there's just me on the other side in this other dimension that's like, stop being a lazy fuck. Like right now, there's probably me watching me and another me in another dimension. That's the crazy part. And it may, all I know, that life may be true. We don't really know. I don't really like thinking. I really think a lot of that stuff, like, I think people want there to be another universe of us, that we want to have 10 versions of us. It's like, I think the version we live is us. I don't think there's another version in another universe in a different environment where it's like, if we lived here, I think this is it. I don't think there's life like us on another planet. Maybe I'm naive. I don't know. I don't think that we are I will say, because I had a childhood imaginary friend, and every time I speak about it, I get a little nervous, because I remember one time I spoke about something of that nature, and the room felt so off when I started talking. It's like, it literally felt like somebody's watching me. It did. And like, you get this weird feeling. Like, I want to say that I don't think that stuff is real, but I had an imaginary friend when I was younger that my mom told me about, that I remember to an extent being kind of real, but I don't remember him. But I do remember moments being in that room and having interactions with things, but I don't know how to define it. When you're young, I don't really believe like when you're young, you really remember all this stuff. I think sometimes people, they feel like they got to have a certainty on their youth. So they feel like when they're 4 years old, I remember when I was 4 years old, I saw this and that. I think you were in an environment and then you kind of made up the rest a lot of times. That's my belief. I think we make up and over exaggerate our youth in terms of like the ages 1 through like 4.5 to 5. I think we over exaggerate all that. I really do. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I think we always want to make like our life and our road was much tougher than it was. We live in a world where we feel like the more difficult our road was, the more credible it makes our voice. Damn, that's actually a bar. The tougher our road, the more credible the voice. Damn, I'm not gonna lie. It only took me an hour 10 to come up with the useful line in this podcast. But I really do feel like we live in this. People always try to outmatch each other's struggle. It's the most like eye-rolling, exaggerated. Like, it should not be like this crazy flex that, you have to overcome 80,000 things to become a bartender. Like, I'm not shaming on bartending. Y'all make good money, but like, isn't it funny how like every actor has some crazy struggle where they struggled in Hollywood for, 10 years and all this stuff. And it's like, then you actually dig in the story and it's like, they had a cousin who knew a guy, got them, a part in a small film, and then that worked with that director, and then they worked on another one, then a year. It's like, that's not exactly what you, wrote in your, nice little book 20 years later. It's always like, I came to Hollywood, lived on a train in a boxcar. I once had the mop floors, had mop floors in a corporate office, and they wouldn't even pay me legally. They had to pay me under the table, and the only reason why I got a job is because I had a friend that felt so bad for me. In order for me to get acting classes, I had to have a job and have proof of income. And fortunately, my teacher knew a guy who worked there, and he knew the boss, And then he said he would pay her part of his salary. And he did that for 5 years, and I never slept with him. Okay, that's what we're going to fucking go with. Okay. It's like everyone has this over-exaggerated struggle. Bruh, I was homeless for 3 years before I became a day trading millionaire. Okay. And their idea of homeless was they got kicked out of their mom's house and they moved in with their stepdad. All right. It's like, well, technically my mom's home was my home, you know. That's the thing, man. Like, I just get, it's all worn out. Like, people live in this, we want to live in a struggle all the time. People want to be, it's funny how people advertise, they want to be the struggle. They want to be the struggle so bad. Just so they could become the exact people that shame on the struggle. You know, isn't that the ironic part? They never get back. These people will never ever get back. I'm sorry. People really cause self-inflicted issues, put themselves in crazy struggles, then like give like some commencement speech at a university they never graduated. There's nothing weirder than someone who gives a commencement speech at a university that they never attended. Like, it'll be like a random actor giving a person that didn't even go to college. And all of a sudden, because, you know, they were in Fight Club, and all of a sudden, they're at Princeton giving some motivational commencement speech. It's like, okay. Imagine being a student at Princeton, and you're like, yes, alumni. All they talk about is, you want to be an alumni here. And all of a sudden, you know, some guy with 2 Oscars goes up there and they're like, you know, the thing about hard work, people never understand. And you're down there looking like, huh, I spent 6 years of grad school, went $120K in debt. I got Edward Norton here giving me a speech about what it's like in the real world. Copy that.